like the stars all do. Then again, I wonder if maybe when you're truly happy, you do laugh like that. Like I can't tell you the last time I actually laughed. Like I just something was so funny, and I just couldn't help. I was laughing out loud. I don't remember last time that happened. But I guess that's beyond the point, isn't it? Because the real point is that Israel keeps murdering innocent women and children and men too, and we need to do something about it. We need to fight this shit. And I know my timing's all off and everything. Trust me. Come 3 days from now, everything's gonna go back to normal. We'll be back live first thing in the morning, and we'll, I'll have my other research tool and all of that stuff.
It's still Christmas break.
Right, we're still on break. You guys should be lucky to even get me when we're on Christmas break. Oh, so
Really, the only reason they are is because the boys got new video games, and the video games are cooler than Dad for just for now.
no, video games will be cooler than Dad for a lot longer than just for now. Everything's changing. They're getting bigger. They're getting older. I hate it. I hate it
Oh
a
my
lot.
God, there was a lady at the salon yesterday. She's got two boys that are 14 and 16, and the bitch was pregnant.
Oh,
She's
dude.
due in 3 weeks.
Oh, you dumb
That's
broad.
what I said to her. I said, "What is wrong with you?" She goes, "I have no idea, and this one's a girl." I said, "Oh my God." I
All
said,
right.
"How old are you?" She said, 37.
Eesh.
Uh-huh.
You almost made it.
Almost.
She was right
I
there.
know. They were both almost graduated. I said, "Yes."
Finish line was right there. And if that's not an argument for abortion, I don't know what is. I mean, you're stupid. You have two kids.
They're two boys.
I'm sure she's single, Mom. Yeah. What'd you get?
She was married to the boy's dad.
I will be right
He
back.
died.
Oh, that sounds. You know more about it than I would. So I've been like, nothing.
Yeah, no. Fuck that. Fuck that. Boys 14 and 16 and you're having a baby. Nope. I would not be. Two kids is a fucking lot. Two kids is a lot. I don't care who you are. Two kids is a lot. It's actually, when you have two kids, it's more like three kids because you have the first kid, the second kid, and then the kid that is the dynamic of the two together. But you should see the faces my poor husband makes coming up the stairs. Just another reminder
Smiling
that
faces.
we're not 18 anymore.
Smiling. Pam, it's a mess over there without a solution. No, there is a solution. There is absolutely a solution. It's just we're not allowed to talk about it. It's a final solution.
It's not a simple solution.
It is a simple solution.
And it's not necessarily making us any better.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, it's pretty pathetic looking for attention on YouTube, dude. Says the person commenting on my live.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe talk to somebody smarter than you so they can explain the irony. You said that right, Angela. I had to, and that was a lot.
Yeah. I was just explaining how two kids is.
Oh, and you're somebody that watches a lot. Boy, that makes sense. Says same day parlay. So you're somebody that encourages people to gamble. Boy, you're so awesome.
Just how having two kids is like having three because you have the first kid, the second kid, and then the kid that is the dynamic between the two of them,
Yeah.
which is different.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, the whole thing is just crazy. The whole element of it is just crazy. Like, and the thing is, like, let's say, if I were to get the attention I wanted, that would mean I would be vocally, loudly, and every platform I could, denouncing the Jays, Israel, all that shit. That would be great. That would be really, really great. And I'd be more than willing to do it, play that role, be that person, get that attention. It's not about me. I can't imagine I would, that's going to lead to a good life. The more famous I get, the more discrimination we're going to receive. The people start recognizing me, and they're the J owners of whatever company they belong to or whatever. It's going to be a problem. But that's, to me, it's just so. I mean, if I didn't receive the response I receive, I would have stopped a long time ago. Obviously, what I'm doing seems to really, really bother the system. When you get all these fake ass profiles that come out here, and you can't even spell Derek Jeter's name correctly. Boy, are you stupid. Boy, are you stupid. Why would you make the comment if you can't spell it correctly? Like, what a dumbass. And that's all you do is prove what a dumbass you must be to be opposed to oppose me.
People that are bad spellers don't care about spelling.
People that are bad spellers, well, no, they do. They don't like being pointed out. They just want to pretend like they don't. But they know it makes you look stupid. But it makes you look stupid. It just makes you look stupid every time, and you know it does. You pretend like you don't care, but you know it does. If I could wave a wand over your head that said you would spell everything correctly or you would spell things the way you continue to, you would absolutely pick the correct way. Exactly. Nobody has the guts to do that and stand up for the other side and what's really going and what is really right. Absolutely. Nobody has the power to do that. We need something big to make a statement with. No, but the thing is, we have the power. We are the power. Like, one of the greatest tricks that they've ever done is convinced us how futile the fight is and how ineffectual we are or ineffective we are. And they make you believe that the conspiracy is too big and it's too, like, a lot of times they make it out so it's like something supernatural or some shit. But the reality is, look at my page. Look at the fear that I strike into the system. Just having some regular dumbass that can articulate things and stream thoughts together, that means they send multiple programs my way trying to convince other people not to listen to me. They're not convincing me of shit, and they know that already. So instead of trying to convince me to stop or convince me to do this or convince me, they're desperately just trying to make me look crazy so that other people don't join on. Because they know the more people that are saying the same things, the harder it will be to control them. When people start realizing that it's okay for you to not support Jayism, it's disgusting and you shouldn't. You as a decent human being should actually be vehemently against such disgusting nonsense. From birth to death, the practices, the beliefs, all that stuff, it's really a bad thing. It's not like it's this beautiful religion that incorporates so many wonderful things and it's all inclusive and all this other stuff. No, it's a crazy cult.
Internationally, the U.S. ranks 125th for literacy. 54% of Americans between 16 and 74 read below a 6th grade level.
Absolutely. I just saw an interrogation video where the dude didn't know how to spell his middle name. He knew how to say it, but he couldn't spell it. No, not that dude. But like again, look at the comments. The guy can't come up with anything to say, so he's gonna try to like he knows my weed, and it's trash weed. And that let me defend my weed to you. I need to defend my that's the best that this guy can come up with. He has a platform to be able to say anything he wants and be like, no, dude, you're wrong because of this, and you're stupid because of this, and blah, blah. And that's the best he can come up with. Who do you think that is? You really think that's like regular, real people? Or is that just dumb Jays doing the best they can do? The one that's encouraging people to gamble, remember? Selling people this fake ass dream that, oh yeah, you'll win the lottery. Yeah, you totally can. You know, you'll never win the lottery. The people around me all the time, you got trashed. That's the people around me all the time. You trash me, but they keep coming back. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Make it make sense. Make it make sense other than how I am. I'm saying it's Israeli bots and it's Team Jorge and other Black Ops organizations like it. If you think it's something else, then by all means, let me know. But it's, you know, it seems pretty obvious to me. I mean, who doesn't who supports continuing giving money to Israel and turning a blind eye to the pedo situation? Do any of you do that? Doesn't everybody think we should stop giving money to Israel? We should kick all those filthy Jays out of our government? And we should use that money and those resources to eliminate pedos? Doesn't everybody agree with me on that? I mean, that seems like real backwards sort of basic stuff. And then you have these same day parlay who is an obvious pedo supporter, if not a pedo themselves, and a dumb J, and all they do is keep proving it. This person laughs at someone talking about killing pedos and outing Jays. Yep, this feed is just so funny like that. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho. That's literally the best they can come up with. And all they do is provide me with this fantastic example, right? Trust me, if I was sitting here like, all right, I'm going to do math problems. 4 plus 5 is 10. 2 plus 2 is 6. They would be so, and I was serious, they would be so quick to jump all over it. Yeah, look how stupid you are. You got that wrong. They clearly could say things were wrong if I was wrong. And they would be like super quick to do it. So when they're not pointing out things that I'm getting wrong, and instead they're trying to make me look bad, what does that tell you? You know, people want evidence, and I only harp on this topic for that reason. Right? People want evidence. How do you know? How do you know? Well, look at it. You know, you're not going to get like it's, you don't really think same day parlay is going to come out and be like, fuck yeah, I'm a big pedo supporter and I support Israel. You don't think they're going to do that, do you? These are cowards. This person is a fucking piece of shit coward. They're not going to acknowledge anything as real. You have to be able to read between the lines and see it. So again, ask yourself, who's going to be mad at the guy who thinks we should kill pedos? Who's gonna be against the guy that thinks we should stop giving American tax dollars by the billions to Israel so they commit genocide? Like, who supports that even a little bit? Love you too, bud. I guarantee none of you do. You know, I guarantee none of the real people on here do. Of course, you're gonna get piece of shit Jays that come in and, you know, they're going to put the Israeli flag. Why? Because they don't have any arguments. They can't argue against anything I'm saying. I'm right. The Jays are disgusting. It's a disgusting, disgusting cult. And there's literally nothing good about what they do. Nothing. They bring nothing good to the worldwide stage. So, if I'm wrong, by all means, tell me. Tell me which bits I'm getting wrong. I'm saying, as a people, they are disgusting, horrible people who bring nothing good to the planet. That should be like, that's a pretty broad statement, right? That's giving you the opportunity. Like, I'm setting you up to succeed. Yeah, they got me so angry. The muttons, yeah, because I typically have the same facial hair for a long period of time, right? Like, they're so desperate to get a victory that they're making shit up. Do you guys see this?
You guys don't understand how hard it is for him to even go live at the same time every day. He does not like routine at all. If he can change it, he will. Change it up every day. He would. But, he knows that other people thrive on routine and has to work with that, and it drives him nuts.
Well, but I mean,
His
still,
facial hair is never the same.
when you can't come up with anything, when you can't best me in anything, you're gonna start making stuff up. Look, we got him mad. Look, I'm like already like more than capable of admitting I'm angry. But it's not at you guys.
Right.
I'm angry at the pedos. Yeah. Absolutely angry at the Jays and the pedos.
And it's not even anger, it's more passionate.
No, it's anger. I hate them. I hate them with every fiber of my being. It's
beautiful.
It's not. It's fuel. It's no, because again, that notion of you shouldn't hate things, that's something they tell you.
No, unresolved anger.
It's not unresolved anger. It doesn't cause me any of those things because I think hatred is a natural human emotion. We all feel hatred. So to tell us we're not allowed to feel hatred makes us unbalanced. Oh, I'm allowed to feel love, but I'm not allowed to feel hatred. So I have a very, very good relationship with my hatred, and I'm very well balanced in my hatred. You can't. No, I mean, it can be, I guess, if you do it your way. I don't know. Me, I get it off my chest. I let it out there. I express my hatred in a good, healthy way, and there's no negative from that. There's no negative. I can tell myself literally every day I'm reaching somebody new. There's somebody new that's learning that it's okay to stand up. Because that's the reality. The thing that keeps them in that position is that most of us don't think we're allowed to talk about them. Everybody thinks that that they're somehow off limits. But they're not. They're just people. This is America, Jack.
That's the wrestler, right?
Yeah, no, that's
UFC.
Yeah, that's Randy. Randy Couture. I mean, again, everybody who claims that, like, I'm not doing anything, and yet, at the least, instead of they're sitting on my page, trying to, infiltrate or upset me, that's great. I'm doing something good. You have to remember, all of these fucking pieces of shit, same day parlay and all these are pedos. If they weren't here, they'd be trafficking pictures and all kinds of shit online to each other. So the fact that they're here and wasting their efforts, like, they get upset. I'm just laughing so hard. It's so funny to have this guy rip us apart and make a they're upset. And so again, read between the lines, see what you see, but it's all really easy. Prove it, the person says. Listen, if you weren't a pedo, as soon as you heard me even hint at the fact that you were, you'd be quick to call me out on it. What the fuck, asshole? Fuck you. No, those fuckers should die. Blah, blah, blah. This has nothing to do with it. Blah, blah, blah. All kinds of shit. The fact is, every time it gets pointed out, they try to change the subject. And even without it, just look at it from a the initial point of view. Whether you just came here to troll, whether you blah blah, whatever your stupid reason is, as soon as you realize that the guy you're trolling wants to cut off Israel First of all, just cut off Israel. That sounds great. But then especially to use that money to kill pedos, out and kill pedos, like you go, well, shit, we might not agree on favorite sports teams or whatever, but this guy's talking about shit that needs to be talked about, not talked about, but needs to be. There needs to be a much bigger investigation and effort into outing and killing these pedos. Use that same COVID technology that you were tracking COVID people. Use that to track the pedos. You know? And so you would think that as soon as these people realize, oh, well, hey, this isn't the same dumb fucking truther it normally is. Because for some reason, they target truthers. You don't see these kinds of trolls anywhere else. You only see them on truther pages. Like, how much more proof do you need? Go look up Team Jorge Israel, right? And it's a black ops organization that specializes in cyber espionage and bot farm run slander campaigns and whatnot. This is the proof that you won't look at. Just look at it for what it is. Don't need to be told. Look at it for what it is. Explain it in a different way. Please, somebody explain to me how it's not pedos. It's just some random dumbasses totally obsessed with me, so they watch me every day. I mean, okay, I guess. But anybody wants to tell me how it's not pedos? I mean, have you seen this? Are you looking at the comments now? Not one of these comments is denying being a pedo. Same Day Parlay is trying to get the conversation on submarines now. Because he doesn't want to talk about the fact that he's a dumb piece of shit Jay and he's a pedo. He doesn't want you guys realizing that shit, but he's also not denying it because he can't. How could he deny something? How many people would think it was funny to be called a pedo, to be called out, be called a piece of shit Jay and a pedo? How many of you would think that makes sense? That's fun. And Naomi, we'll give Naomi her shout out. She's a pedo profile as well. You think getting a shout out is being called a pedo? What normal person does that? What non-pedo does that? If that doesn't wake you up, again, they're not going to like out themselves. They're not going to sit here and tell you, yeah, we actually are pedos from Israel, blah, blah. They're not going to do it. Just like they're not going to deny it. Chubby girl? Yeah. Do the thing. Even if he was a pedo, he could just... Yeah, but he doesn't. Understand? Real people, if I start calling you a pedo, you're going to be like, fuck you, dude. That's too far. Blah, blah, blah. Don't say things like... You're going to say something. You know, normal people take offense to those things. Right? And really, at the end of the day, you ask these trolls, why are you here? Why are you desperately trying to interfere with the feed that talks about removing Israel and the Jays and killing pedos? That's the stated mission statement. Why would you ever not join that person? Who is not going to join that person? Who is going to get hung up on, oh, your haircut isn't right. You're not clean shaven enough. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. Who's going to do that? Other than desperate crackpots trying to switch the conversation, trying to change topics, because they always do this. Every time the Israel stuff starts coming up, and they start, they're desperate. Who is going to be opposed to this? Who in their right mind is going to go, this guy's bad. He talks bad about Israel and pedos. Does anybody do that? No jaywalking. The J-ish pieces of shit that control the world. That are clearly terrified by me. If they weren't, they wouldn't be here. There are lots of other people that have way more than 24 viewers. And there are people that will react and really truly get upset by what you're saying. And since you're talking shit, you're trying to upset people, right? So you would think if it was just the real life loser troll people that they claim to be, that they would, they would feed that troll. They would try to get what they want out of it. And who's going to do that? Who's going to be here just initially? I mean, it's just like everything else. You don't need to get into the intricacies and all that shit. You just need to ask really simple questions. Why would anybody rather I talk about submarines than exposing this Israeli nightmare? Things like the Samson option, Team Jorge, things like that. Who thinks me not believing in submarines is more important than us outing and executing every last one of these pedos? Does anybody? Again, look at the comments, man. How many of the people have been directly called a pedo? Directly called a J piece of crap, piece of shit, Israeli genocide supporting pedo. And they just took it. They okay, they wear the moniker proudly. And it's literally like, you'll see it all the time. You'll see people talking about, oh, they just hate the J. They never talk about why. We need to talk about why. This is the year of honesty. 2025 is the year of honesty. And we are going to look at any and every situation as honestly as we can. And this is, what's the Samson project? The Samson option. The Samson option is Israel's defense strategy. It's first of all, if you believe in nukes, then it does its job as it's supposed to. But it says that if Israel ever feels like it's been invaded and or destroyed, they clearly say and or destroyed. So invaded, that could be anything. You could have two people that invade your country from another country that gives you the okay that you're looking for. But if Israel is ever invaded or destroyed, they will launch their nukes in every direction, killing everyone. The people that are committing genocide right now have it on record that they will commit genocide everywhere if they're not allowed to keep cutting and sucking baby penises. Because that's literally been the sort of the like when people talk about, they were kicked out of 100 countries in the last 1,000 years and blah, 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 all these things, but they never tell you why. It's because of the insistence on circumcision. And circumcision done their way, especially, which is cutting and sucking. That's why they were kicked out. That's why they're the most persecuted people ever. And then you throw the rest of their practices on top of it, and it's disgusting. The way they look at women, the way that they treat the non-Jays. I mean, it's crazy. I'm here to talk about the issues. And you're just arguing with the chat, letting them in your head. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Letting them get in my head. Just desperate. If you're here to talk about the issues, then you wouldn't need to talk about that. You would just start saying things. Just say things. One everything is a Jehovah's Witness hater. What? They're all stupid. It's all stupid. Like, all the religions are stupid distractions, and they're all J control. It's just the Christianity is the dumbest of the groups. You know, at least the Jehovah's think Jehovah's Witnesses are the best. The you know, to I guess to a degree. I mean, it depends on how much they're anybody that the Bible is your main book, and your Bible talks about how the bad guys in the Bible, not Satan, because Satan isn't the bad guy in the Bible. That the bad guys in the Bible who completely different religion and to this day still very much look down on you as a Christian. The people that killed your Christian God's only kid and your superhero, they are your Christian God's favorite chosen people. You are not the best people in your own religion, in your own goofy cult. If that doesn't just scream like you've been duped, I just can't. That to me is the number one. Like I say, it's just like so many other things, submarines included, where it's not like you really need to look, super deep or anything like that. Just right off the bat, explain to me how you guys are okay with a completely different group of people being your God's favorite people. It's the stupidest shit. And it absolutely points to who is actually in control. We have 53.9, and nobody can have an intelligent conversation. Nobody can bring anything to the table and talk about it now. But Pam, that's what they're doing. Like, again, don't be upset about it. Look, whatever you stand, like that whole notion that if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. That's not true. If you're not standing against pedos and the Jays in Israel and other, then you're standing up for them. You might not be out there campaigning for them, but you're definitely not trying to make their lives harder. So, these people, they're proving to whoever's willing to see it that there is a system out there that is desperately trying to shoot the messenger. They do not want you guys to engage or have these conversations, so they try to fill up the comments and do all this stupid shit to keep us stupid. The last thing they want is for somebody to come in here and intelligently engage with me. I mean, if I was wrong, you would think that would be simple. You want the feed to stop, you want me to look like a dumbass, then you come debunk what I'm saying. It's pretty simple. Just like I'm doing to all of your shit, you do it back to me. But that's not how this works. What? What? About what? Are you seriously stopping me for this? Okay, thanks, bud. It's so super simple to see. Right. It's simple to see I'm wrong. Right. Genocide is not horrible, and we shouldn't stop the pedos. Right. It's clear to see that I'm wrong. Like, this is what we get, guys. They do respond to the things I'm saying. They're good little monkeys. They respond like I want them to. I want them to say these things. I want them to show you that there's literally nothing that could be said, because, again, they keep proving if they could say something, they would. A lot of times they think they're saying something smart. It's like how Israel says, well, if the UN opens up the books and looks into Israel, that demonizes Israel. Only a stupid ass would be dumb enough to say that. If what you're doing is right and good and righteous and everything's on the up and up, then what do you care if people look into you? It's not going to demonize you by looking into your past, unless, of course, you're a piece of shit who does really awful things, and showing what you actually do will, in fact, demonize you. Yeah, then it makes sense. But that's how stupid this system is. That's how stupid Team Jorge, that's how stupid everything associated with these dumb fucking Jays is. And the reality is, they're clinging on to this supremacy, through intimidation and through stupidity. Because the reality is that they cannot have an intelligent conversation. How do you talk about intelligent reality with people whose foundation is fantasy nonsense? Look, this person, right? Right? So this Thomas person is gonna spend all the time and effort to write out at least 3 sentences, so it's a paragraph. Let's see how good it is. About the 12th time this game I've seen this guy pop up. How he talks and acts reminds me of my old roommate who is mentally not well and letting everything in life get to him. He's currently homeless. Yeah. See that's what it is. Instead of taking that effort it took to write that whole paragraph and be like, well, actually, dude, you're wrong about this thing. Or you're wrong about that thing. Nope. It's trying to make I'm crazy because I oppose genocide and J supremacy. I'm proud of my anti-Semitism. Isn't that amazing? That makes me crazy. Not, oh, here, let me explain to you this or that, or you're wrong. No, I'm just crazy because I don't think the Jays should be on the top. I think they're a disgusting cult and we need to remove them. That makes me crazy. And you'd think if I'm so dumb and crazy, there would be multiple arguments against what I'm saying. You could just start popping them off. You're wrong because of this and this and this, and never happens. Because you can't argue irrational nonsense with truth. It doesn't work. It just ends up making you look stupid because what can you do? What could they possibly say? No, Sky Daddy. Well, the Bible says. Well, what about reality? Well, the Bible says. Who wrote the Bible? The Bible says. And then if you start talking, you start getting into the whole Tartaria stuff and the reset stuff. I mean, I don't know how anybody, it's really strange to me how the Tartaria narrative hasn't completely thrown a wrench, especially into the religious narrative, right? Oh, we got another paragraph. Guy must be locked up. He is stoned 24/7. He is not smart, smokes all day, every day. This, my friend, is a man that's brain is damaged from too much weed smoking. Ha ha, shame. Again, that person took the effort to type all that out and not one thing about how I'm wrong. And definitely not going to say anything about how they agree genocide is terrible. I think genocide is terrible, but this guy is, nope, nothing. I'm just crazy. I only keep going back to it as that, I can't sit here and show you, documentation that Israel interferes with. I can have you look it up, but I'm not going to sit here with officially signed and notarized document. Here, there's this paper, and there's this paper, and there's this paper. No, just look at the comments. Look at what desperate people super desperate to try to make me look bad. Look at their very best. Look at all they can come up with. I mean, it's just, I just, it's brilliant. I appreciate it so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. If I sat here and I tried to tell you that this is how the system works, and they try to do the shoot the messenger thing, and they're stupid, these Jays are super stupid, and Team Jorge, and if I tried to tell you all about all this stuff, and there was no evidence for it, it would be a much harder argument. But there's really no other way to explain what I'm saying. Really, there are just this many people on a whatever today is, 11 o'clock on a Friday. They're not at work. They got nothing else going on in their life that they want to come to my feed every day, no matter what time I go. Normally I go at like 8:30 a.m. But it could be 8:30 a.m. It could be 9:30 p.m. They're always here because I'm wrong. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes all of the sense. You know? And they can't make any real arguments. It's like I'm forced to sort of make the argument for them, right? Because they're, I'm trying to I'm trying to prove things one way or another. And I can tell you go look up this news article, I can tell you go look up this reference or this, that, and the other. But so much of that is propaganda, trying to get us to look one way or the other. And when they try to get us to focus on the past, especially, I mean, the past is over with. It can't be changed. So sitting there focused on it, trying to argue about it, it really doesn't do any good. What we have is the here and now, right now. And again, where's all the people that are opposed to pedophilia? I just assume that's everybody, right? I assume that's everybody and that it shouldn't be a question. But from my experience, especially on here, these fake Israeli bot profiles. Like, just think of Team Jorge, right? It's called Team Jorge. This is just one. You have to keep this in mind the whole time. That Team Jorge is just one outed. It was outed in 2023 by French and Israeli a collaboration between French and Israeli news organizations to expose just Team Jorge. Now, there are many, many, many other Israeli black ops organizations. But the one that got exposed is called Team Jorge. Now, if I tell you it's Team Jorge, 100% of you are not going to guess it's Israel. Jorge is going to make you think of South Americans, South Americans, Mexicans, whatever you want to, whatever Latino you want to call it. But Jorge is not an Israeli name that you would think of. So right off the bat, there's deception there. There's manipulation there. If you hear the name, you're going to think in a different direction than you should. But Team Jorge is an organization headed by a guy called Tal, T-A-L, Hanan, H-A-N-A-N. And he is an ex-Israeli Special Forces operator who has been running, according to him, Team Jorge for at least 2 decades. Right? At least 2 decades. Now, the expose was only able to show documentation from as early as 2015, which is the perfect time to be infiltrating the first Trump election. And you've been told that Russia interfered in the election, not shown any evidence for it, but told that Russia interfered with the election. Damn. And we're told that Russia interfered to help Trump win, I guess. when Trump lost by 2.7 million votes and the J swamp that Trump was swearing up and down he was going to drain, that same J swamp is what put him in anyway. But again, you don't want to talk about these things, right? You don't want to talk about actual politics and shit. Look at how much the one dumbass is desperately trying to get me to talk about something different. New topic, trying desperately to get you guys to not hear about this. Because I'm very familiar with this, but you guys might not be. A lot of, unless you've been here, you don't know. There's no other truther out there talking about this. Alex Jones isn't talking about the Samson option. Alex Jones isn't telling you about Team Jorge. Anomaly's not telling you about this shit. Only some dumbass like Todd Church would be, because obviously he watches my shit and really lives on my nuts. But other than that, I'm trying to get a range of famous to not famous. You know, Kenny Bartholomew, he's not going to tell you these things. They want you focused on everything but these things. You're focused on Trump and Kamala and Trump and Biden and blah, blah, blah. First of all, I'm wondering where the fuck Biden even is. Secondly, I'm way more concerned with the things that they all agree on than the things they claim to disagree on. And shit like the Abraham Accords, the normalization deals, you know, signing deals that say if Morocco, if Qatar, if Bahrain, any of these places play nice with Israel and agree not to fight, not to attack if Israel, you know, starts a genocide, just randomly. That's just a random thought. It's not like Israel's going to start a genocide or anything. That they won't fight back. They won't attack. And if they do that, then the United States will pay them with American tax dollars. Trump signed all those deals. Then Biden was trying to sign those deals. This is what you should be focused on and you're not focused on. Things like Team Jorge. Team Jorge is the smoking gun. It shows you just one little piece that shows you just how much control Israel has. The Pegasus software that they sold to all the different countries all over the world that allow the governments to, you know, go onto your phone, onto your laptop, onto whatever you have, even if it's turned off, they can still go on it and take what they want off of it. And just like with every time Israel sells a bunch of software, it also gives Israel a backdoor into all those same things. Not to mention our government protocols. But you guys, you know, you guys want to talk about Trump, right? You guys want to talk about Epstein's best buddy, Trump? The guy that covered up Epstein's death. The guy that locked everyone down for COVID. I literally was talking to a dumb Trump pansy the other day who swore COVID was Biden. Trump had nothing to do with it. How stupid can you fucking be? But Team Jorge, Team Jorge and Tal Heyman, been in business for at least 20 years, well-funded black ops organization in a really fancy, blacked out building with no marks on it, all the highest high-tech everything inside. Extremely well-paid piece of shit he is. He brags that they, in 2022, mind you, now this is 3 years later. In 2022, they bragged about having 40,000 bot profiles at their disposal. They have 40,000 fake social media bots, at least 40,000 that they can you know, on that level, they were talking about used to interfere with elections. And if you understand that they can interfere with elections, well, then fucking with individual YouTube pages or whatever, that's child's play. You know, if they can hack through government softwares and all that stuff, they can absolutely make fake bots. Then you have another guy called Barbink. His last name is Barbink. He was the former head of the Israeli cybersecurity apparatus. He flat out told Al Jazeera that Israel has their system set up so it flags anybody talking about Israel. They said anybody, what do you say? Anybody with pro-Palestinian content or something like that. But if they can program it to focus on apples, then they can program it to focus on oranges and bananas and everything else too. Right? But they have their spiders all set up so that if anybody's talking about Israel, talking about Palestine, talking about Jays, talking about anything, they're immediately notified to when to then they're you know, it goes from the AI portion to then the human organization group, whatever, then, you know, checks out whatever's being talked about. And if they don't like it, he said they, quote, contact Facebook, which I don't know if you've ever tried to contact Facebook, but not sure how you even do that. But they contact Facebook and they show them, sorry, I gotta use this again. They show them whatever content that they don't want or they don't like. And his quote was, Facebook usually complies with the request to either take it down, shadow ban it, whatever it is. He flat out acknowledges that Israel controls social media. And that's if you look at everything else too. I mean, they have controlled regular media, the news, the entertainment industry, all that, Hollywood, both East Coast and West Coast Hollywood. They've controlled that since the beginning. So why wouldn't they also control the social media aspect of things? Again, I'm so wrong that nobody can debunk anything I'm saying. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? They can be mad. They're definitely mad. They definitely don't want us exposing the J Hollywood, you know, pedo system. They don't like us talking about that. They don't like us talking about Dan Schneider, you know, Weinstein, Epstein, Terry Richardson. You guys don't even know who Terry Richardson is. Look up Terry Richardson nude on Google and see, then look at the images that come up. You'll be shocked. Especially the one where Macaulay Culkin's doing the cum spit. A young, shirtless Macaulay Culkin is doing a cum spit picture. That's pretty fucking sweet, isn't it? Your buddy Johnny Knoxville. All these pictures of this dude banging like famous chicks, and he's ugly as could be. Good old Terry Richardson. Leslie Moonves sure fucking, he sure disappeared, didn't he? Former head of CBS. Married to Julie Chen. Host of Big Brother. He gets busted making inappropriate, like finally gets busted making inappropriate advances towards what I believe to be that Jerica chick. And it gets blown out of, it gets not blown out of, but it gets blown up and then quickly quieted, and he gets to leave with his $40 million severance package. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about how when it was up to a goyim, Weinstein was fucking super guilty. Got a big fucking horrible sentence and blah, blah, blah. When it was appealed and then presented to a J judge, Everything was overturned. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? All you America first, Trump fancy dumbasses, you're cool with giving Israel $3.8 billion a year. Well over $18 billion since October of 2023. Yeah, that makes so much sense. We couldn't use that money here for much better things like, a pedo hunter program, fixing the roads, drug rehabs, homeless shelters, veterans programs. Why don't we have more veterans programs? Why are there any homeless veterans? Do you understand how insane that is? You went and got your brain broken for your country. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And it's all because of these dumb, disgusting Jays, man. You know, all of these distractions that we're given, all of these different avenues we're told to focus on. Look at the chemtrails. Just don't ask who's spraying them. Look at the shots. Just don't ask who's providing them. Look at the government. Just don't ask who controls it. Look at the Hollywood. Just don't ask who benefits. And you wonder why so many people are on fucking crazy ass antidepressants that you see commercials for all the time. Say, if you're taking this antidepressant and it makes you want to kill yourself even more, well, here, take this too. They have everybody walking around believing they're depressed, they're bipolar, they're crazy, they're all of these fucked up things. Why? I mean, what do you think it does to people when you tell them that their purpose is to make the world a better place? Figure out what the problem is and then solve it. And then we as people, we consistently figure out the problem is the Jays and how they control things and what they do to us. And as soon as you say, hey, you know what? I think I did figure out the solution. I think we can fix things. People are like, oh, really? What is it? And you go, well, I think it's the Jays that can. Don't say that. No. I'm trying to fix the problem. It's not even like it's not like kill them all or anything. It's like give them a choice. No. We just no. Just hear me out. No, I'm not going to hear you out. You're not even allowed to say it. I'm not going to prove you wrong. I'm not going to engage in anything you're saying. I'm just going to tell you you can't say it. But you still need to figure out what's wrong and solve it. And you're like, but I did figure it out. But you're not allowed to say it. So say something else. And you go, okay, well, they say it's okay if I say it's the devil. Can we say, yes, the devil? Yeah, the big scary guy lives down beneath us, pitchfork, He's kind of effeminate, little mustache. Or in his other form, he's a big scary goat. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, believe in that. That's what it is. All the bad guys, all the bad stuff, it's because of him. And then you believe in the other side, right? Yeah, there's like a lot of us, right? There's a billion of us out there that believe in the good side, right? Well, then how do the bad guys keep overriding if so many of us believe in the good side and we're praying and we don't talk about that either. Just keep praying. Just keep praying. Keep giving your money. As long as you follow the rules while you're alive, dude, guess what? When you die, it's going to get real good. It's going to get really good, right? When you die, you get to go to heaven and, and it's just awesome up there. It's up. Yeah, it's up there. It's awesome. It's past space. Yeah. Because you believe in space too, right? Yeah, I know, me too. Weird, huh? Yeah, we believe in both things. I know, it's crazy, but see, personally, I don't understand how heaven can work. Like I think about it from I call it the Jimi Hendrix perspective, right? If Jimi Hendrix was down here, he couldn't go anywhere without people mobbing him. Just stupid. Hey, oh, I really like your songs, man. Oh, man, it got me through some tough times. Oh, I listen to this song, all the words and stuff. I can air guitar really good, dude. It's awesome. And he'd be like, "Yo, okay, thanks. Yeah, okay." And like, I'm sure that's really cool at first. Oh, we've got some Arabic writing. Well, you know that's bullshit. Whatever it is. But but Jimmy would have security all around him to keep people away from him because they would just annoy the piss out of him. He wouldn't be able to go anywhere. He wouldn't be able to do anything. That's why so many stars hate it. Eminem talks about it all the time. It sucks. You can't go just enjoy life like normal people. You become this prisoner. Well, up in heaven, how does that work? Is Jimi Hendrix like? Does he again have security to keep all the souls away from the decades and decades of people who keep dying after lifetime and lifetime, and they just keep dying. They're like, yeah, I loved your music. I just wanted to meet you. Is Jimi Hendrix stuck fucking meeting people all day, every single day? That sounds like heaven. And then if he's not, how does that work? Because that's how it would work. All you dumbasses would want to meet him. And I always wonder, like, is like, at what level do you have to stop showing up to the person dying? Like, how many distant cousins away do I have to be? If I never met the person, does it really matter if I'm sitting there waving, hey, welcome to heaven, hey? Does that matter? And if I'm obligated to do that, like, all the time, what happens if I'm in a good fucking game of chess with Jimi Hendrix and I gotta stop? Oh, shit. Another 58th cousin died. I gotta go wave. Yeah, me too. Same cousin. Hey, buddy, hey. And so is my heaven there and my grandmother's heaven there at the same time? Is it like cubicles where there's walls? Because, if I'm in heaven, I want to listen to Jimi Hendrix really loud. I want to shoot dope. I want to know what all the fucking magic was about, what all the rumors were about. What's so good that people are willing to ruin their lives over it? The true muse for so many of the best musicians of all time. I want to fucking know. And if I can't die or anything, I'm fucking in heaven. I'm gonna shoot that dope and listen to Hendrix and nod out and fuck yeah, why not? Do I get to do that? Is that music loud? And does my grandmother hear it? And how old is my grandmother in heaven? Is she the old crippled lady that died, or is she like a 30-year-old chick that I wouldn't recognize, or like a 18-year-old chick? Like, how does that even work? It's all stupid. You don't. There's a reason why there's no like in-depth conversations about it, because the more you start thinking and asking questions, the dumber it's going to be. So they just want you to think about it from that surface level. Yep, there's a heaven. It exists. It's really pretty. It's all white everywhere, and there's clouds and shit. But don't start asking too many questions. Don't start looking too deeply, because, I mean, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Look at the dumb J bots have run out of things to say, so they're now repeating themselves because they run out of shit to say. And then we have these cowards writing in a language that can't be read because, again, they're not proud of what they're saying. If they were proud, then they would be happy to say it so I could read it and everyone could understand it. But they're not proud of their dumb shit. They know it's just more dumb J control scheme pedophile nonsense. Here, let's hear this Shane Burke character. I saw this real quick. This is always funny. Jesus is the answer. I done went down the rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole. Jesus is the only place to find the rest of the world trying to drive you mad from being fallen away from God. Yeah, I guess you didn't go all the way down the rabbit hole then, huh? You're just so stupid. The whole Jesus narrative is so dumb. Like, for somebody to claim that they put in the research and they did what did you come up with? What specific thing did you come up with that makes you think that that bullshit, of all the bullshit out there, that bullshit is real. Don't read me like that. No, sorry, dude. When you start pushing that that J control bullshit, that Jesus bullshit, sorry, that there's no excuse for that. It's dumb, it's control, it's fake, it's just there's nothing real or good about it. Why so? I'm explaining it to you. It's hatred for what you believe in, and then the fact that you choose to do it, and then come push that hatred on my feed. That disgusting, disgusting nonsense. You know, Christianity is disgusting, horrible, fucking slavery nonsense. An idea, right? That has no power over you, right? There's no power over me. Do you understand that women can't get proper abortions right now because of dumb nonsense that has to do with that shit? Do you understand there are places all over the country where if I happen to want a drink on a Sunday morning, I'm not allowed to have it because of your dumb bullshit? You know, do you understand that there are countless organizations that continue to violate children, and instead of getting in trouble like they should, they get sent to church city, church country, and they get to live their life in penance? Cowards. Look at the cowards. Talk to you, stop avoiding the subject. I am talking to you. What's wrong with you? You believe in nonsense, dude. You believe in utter fucking nonsense. And it's hatred. And it's slavery. It's nonsense. No, you're not answering the questions. Why do you believe what you believe? That's a simple question. You're finding every excuse to not answer that question at this point. I am talking to you about Jesus. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, this is the best you can do? I'm not going to spend too much more time with you then. You believe in nonsense, guy. Yep, I do. I believe that humans are amazing and we're capable of good things, and all we need to do is get rid of these J-control fairy tales and unify and help each other. What kind of nonsense is that? Because Jesus took my son to heaven. What an asshole. What an asshole. I'm really sorry your son died, but why would you want to, like, I get that you want to believe something to make it make sense or somehow make it feel better, but there's nothing to make it feel better. I'm sorry. That shit's just not real. If Jesus really loved you, he wouldn't do that, right? There's no way there's no way that someone that loves you would take your kid from you. When my son died, if he come to me and said he would take my son to heaven and that I was lost and I would not make it. Yeah, do you know how arrogant you have to be in this regard? Like, this is one of those things that I just don't think Christians understand. The insane arrogance it takes to be a Christian, right? To believe that there are children that are dying from the AIDS and the cancers that he gave them. There are children consistently being violated, raped by clergy and Jays and all this other shit everywhere. And instead of helping them, Jesus, God is coming to you to make you feel better. That's some really, really awful, arrogant shit. And he called me out from being stubborn and for sticking up for Jesus when I was see, you got nothing. Just nothing. So you really don't have anything. It's more real than all the things I've ever tried before in my life. You can deny it, but it doesn't make me that you're right. So you don't have anything. Like, you don't have a reasonable argument for what you're saying. You're just saying, I like it. It makes me feel better. Never mind all of the hypocrisy. Never mind that there's a genocide happening right now that Jesus is okay with. Responsible for, basically. It's about your shit, man. That's really fucking crazy. You don't regret your kid died. Right, that's exactly it. Like, you would say something so awful is crazy that they would trick you into saying shit like that. It's just terrible. I just explained why I called you arrogant. You know what's never happened in the history of God? In the history of God and Jesus, a cop. Me names. No one called you names, Goofy. Now I did. In the history of Jesus, a cop has never been driving down the street when suddenly Jesus appears in the seat next to him and says, "Stop the car, go kick in that door right now, my son." And he goes, "Oh, okay, Jesus." And he jumps out and he runs and kicks open the door. And it's a fucking pedo ring where the cop saves like 11 kids and you know, whatever, whatever. It's never ever happened. God appears to make people feel better sometime after God does it, because God took your kid from you, the way that you believe it, at least. And instead of helping and all that stuff, it's you know, it's craziness. It's just craziness. You know why you don't feel better? You say you feel better, but you clearly don't, because you're saying the wrong things. If you felt better, you'd be able to say it was horrible. It was totally unfair. It's unreasonable and it's disgusting, and I'll never be the same again. And that's okay. It's okay that you're never the same again. You shouldn't be. You've experienced something that none of us should have to experience. Look at the cowards speaking in the other language. They have nothing to say. Run then, or I'll stay here with you. Don't talk to me. But I don't even know what you're talking about. You're just ridiculous. You're just ridiculous, dude. And you're proving what it takes. You know what it takes to fall for that trap. You know, you can't understand any of that shit. Like, that's this whole idea of Jesus loves me, or Jesus, like, if you're gonna pray for me, or if you believe in any of that shit, if you believe in any of the powers of prayers and all that shit, you should literally only be praying that the clergy stops raping children. We, I'm sorry. Here, we can deal with it all over the rest of the world after we get the most powerful organization in the world, openly at least, the most powerful organization in the world, to stop doing it and help. Once we fix that problem, then we can address it everywhere, because we have a better footing. But if you believe that actual prayers work, and you pray for anything other than the clergy stops raping children, you're selfish. You're selfish. When my whole family is taught to treat each other better over something that happens in the world, yes, the whole family is better now because we miss them. Why would that? What? That's insane. That's just insane. You're not better because of it. You're different. It's not better. It's worse, actually. It sucks. It sucks, and I feel so bad for you and everybody in your family and everybody. It sucks. And it makes me wonder, like, how much maybe could have been done if you didn't believe in such crazy nonsense. It's crazy arrogant. It's crazy arrogant. I'm more than okay with calling anyone who's a Christian an arrogant, that you're arrogant. You're told to believe that Christianity is like the absence of arrogance, when in reality it's the opposite. You believe that your God has this plan, and that your God doesn't make any mistakes. However, you believe that you can be like, "Yo, please, God, I've given a lot of money," because God doesn't answer prayers. God answers tithing. Go look it up. But I've given a lot of money, so can you change your plan, please? I know you might, or even, you know, you don't even know if that is God's plan. You don't know, whatever, you know, that could have been the plan. But you're hoping that if it's not the plan to say give you the job, or what kind of stupid shit you guys pray for? If God, he wasn't planning on the surgery going well or whatever, and you're like, please God, make it, and he's like, all right, I guess I'll change my mind. You believe the God that makes the universe work, breathes life into all the living creatures, and blah blah blah, all and is responsible for all the death too. You believe that motherfucker listens to what you're saying and changes its mind because of you. That is unbelievably arrogant. That's arrogance on a level I can't even begin to relate to. I can't even understand that kind of arrogance. Yes, God allowed my child to die. I'm not hating on him because of it. A lot of Gentiles decided to take it personally. That's insane to me. I don't want to believe in something that has the power to prevent that stuff from happening, but does it. Who are you to judge how I feel? You don't know me. You're right. I only know what you present. You're just a random comment on here. We don't even know if you're telling the truth. So I'm only judging what you put forth. Everything you're saying right now, anything about me is false. Sure, okay. Again, I only know what you present. So, as a typical Christian who believes that the God of the universe hears your prayers and changes its mind, that's arrogance, whether you want to accept it or not. That's insanely arrogant. I would never want to believe in that kind of God. I would never want to believe in something so crazy. You're right. You should not be the same after you didn't experience Jesus. Get the hell out of here. Again, the arrogance. So right now, like literally right now, there are children being raped by a clergy. Right now, a clergyman is raping a child somewhere. And if you think that anything you've prayed for, you're praying harder than the child that's praying God stops this from happening, especially if it's already happened before and they know what's going on and blah, blah, blah. That level of arrogance is so far beyond me, I cannot imagine. And yet, your God, instead of, giving that clergy a heart attack before he even made the move, your God is too busy making you feel better or whatever it may be. Do you know how insane that is? I always see these Christians, like there'll be a car accident or something and they'll walk away from it. And they'll be like, oh, thank God I wasn't hurt. Thank God I wasn't hurt. Well, why were you in the car crash to begin with? You're going to have fucking PTSD from that shit. You're going to probably be injured more than you realize down the line. You're going to have to pay for it. Your insurance is going to go up for the rest of your life. You're going to have to get a new car. All these horrible things. You might lose your job because you can't work or whatever it may be. Why didn't God just stop you from getting in the accident to begin with? You want to talk about, thank God I'm okay? Get out of here. You're absolutely right. That should not be allowed. Anything any of us should experience, but we live in a fallen world because we chose to follow Satan. God, this shit's crazy. So God, who has the dinkle dinkle dink power to make anything it wants happen, can't seem to get a hand on this Satan thing. Every time God's looking this way, Satan's what are you doing behind me? What are you doing behind me? What are you doing behind me? Right? Do you know how silly you sound? Every time something bad's happening, it's because Satan has somehow overridden all-powerful, all-knowing God and is, coming up with some... Come on. Come on. Yes, if you're watching, like, share, and sub. That's really important. Thanks for the reminder. It's so ridiculous. And the thing is, it's the exact same arrogance that the Muslims have. The Muslims are just as goofy, man. I had some Muslims come on here that weren't cowards and would speak in English so their comments could be read. And the guy said that I asked him, and you have to respect the guy for at least attempting to answer. Because this nonsense is just goofy. But I asked him, why do you believe in Islam? Like, what makes you believe it? The thing about religion is the best evidence against it is the lack of evidence for it. You would think something that has all this, tax-free situation and power over lives and living in opulence and control, blah, blah, blah. You would think it would be like, why do you believe in religion? And people would go, boom, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And it'd be all these things that we couldn't, well, yeah, you're right. That we did see that happen. That guy was floating up there, and then he shot lightning from his fingers, and I mean that's what happened. Like you would think it would be some shit like that, but it's not. It's literally nothing. And the fact that you have nothing to back up what you're saying, other than I had a feeling, like in any other circumstances, if you're talking to voices in your head, we call it crazy. But when people say, they were talking to Jesus, no, that's a different voice. They know. It's okay. And of course they don't know their own dogma because they know they can't be talking to God because their head would blow up, right? But asking the Muslim, why do you believe in Islam? Muslim says, because there are so many miracles. The Quran is full of so many miracles, it's undeniable. Really. The Quran is full of so many miracles. Now, this is where I think I deserve credit, and I don't get it. Because I say, all right, dude, I don't know the Quran like I know the Bible. So I say, all right, give me one. Just give me one thing, one miracle of the Quran that is undeniable and proves that it's a miracle. It's an act of God. No other explanation could be had other than God reached down and made this thing different. And you would think this guy, he's okay, so he's going to present the very best argument he can come up with, right? He's going to give his very best miracle because, he's on the spot. Here you go, dude. Here's your time to shine. Show me the very best undeniable miracle from the Quran to make me, look stupid. Because again, I'm the one with all the risk. If he ends up saying something that I can't make sense of and I can't explain relatively easily, well, I look like an idiot, right? That could be a miracle then, right? Muslim guy, what's the proof? What's the miracle? He says, well, the word man is mentioned 23 times in the Quran. The word woman is mentioned 23 times in the Quran. We have 23 chromosomes. We didn't know that back then. We didn't know about chromosomes back then. And that was his miracle. And I was like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? It's a good thing we happened to figure that out because for a long time they could have been like, well, 23, that's Michael Jordan's number and shit. We don't know. And then he says that the word day is mentioned 365 times. The word month is mentioned 12 times. Mm-hmm. The word hour is mentioned 24 times. Like this, he starts naming off these dumb things. One, I can't prove or disprove either way, but it's still stupid. But it's like, dude, this is, of all the things you could come up with, that's it. That's like when people say, Nostradamus was was predicting the future. And you go, well, how is it a prediction if you can only figure it out after the fact? That's not a prediction. That's just some dumbass cherry picking. Well, no, he said something about Hyler and the two towers are like just dumb shit. People are just totally stretching. Starting at like May or something of 2023, I was telling people I'll quit doing this live thing. I'll quit doing this live thing and shut the fuck up forever if Israel doesn't do what they did on, the false flag operation that they then used to justify a genocide. If they didn't do that by December of 2023, I said, maybe February by the fucking latest. February, not February, February by the latest, but I wasn't, I said, no, it'll be before, it'll be by, sometime before the end of December. And I gave all sorts of evidence for why I think this is going to be this way. And I said it's going to be after the visa waiver program, but before the end of the year. I didn't know they would only wait a week until after the visa waiver program. But I was literally staking my whole reputation on it, saying I'm making this prediction. If this does not happen, I will quit doing what I'm doing. And not only did it happened early, and it happened just about the way I said it would happen. And I had the opportunity to quit. I wanted to quit. But that's a prediction. That was something that you could say, all right, this guy, we'll go to the end of the year. We'll go from October 31st, so from September 1st. It's only 3 months. That's a small window. Or 4 months. September, October. No. What was it? It was October 31st was when it was signed. And then September 7th? No. It was September. No, it was September. Yeah, September 30th. And then October 7th went in. So October, November, December. It was only 3 months. There's a 3-month window that I gave for this. That wouldn't have, that's a pretty good prediction. To predict a worldwide event would take place, an unprecedented worldwide event would take place within a 3-month window, I think that's pretty spectacular. And get it right. If you bet on that, you would have made a lot of money. That would have made you a lot of money. And, October 7th, 2023, it's total false flag. No Israelis were killed. No Israelis were taken hostage. It's literally as bullshit as the Samantha Wool story 7 days later, or three weeks later. I want you guys to understand this. 3 weeks after October 7th. Like, considering what's going on right now, right? Here in Detroit, this J community leader, high-ranking J woman in our community, I guess, was found dead at around 6:30 a.m. on October 21st, 2023. Found dead around 6:30 in her front yard. Now, there's a whole bunch of other shit involved in this story, but I don't really care about any of that other stuff. It's just the craziest bunch of bullshit story you can imagine. Where the boyfriend actually admits to doing it, but then says, oh, well, I had taken my antidepressants and hit my weed pen. So I falsely called the police and told them I committed, I killed my girlfriend. And he was given immunity so he could testify in trial, even though he admitted to doing it. But the craziest part of the story is that this woman, again, 6:30 in the morning, October 21st. Now, you cannot agree with me on anything. You can think I'm a dumbass. You can everything you want negative about me. I just want to hear, for real. This is one of these for real things. Let's test how stupid all of you trolls are for real. If you could do anything in this whole thing, just give this one opinion, right? This woman is killed at was found dead at 6:30 a.m. stabbed a bunch of times on October 21st, 2023. The newspapers, the morning newspapers from October 22nd, 2023, the very next morning, talk about how the funeral for this woman was beautiful and over 1,000 people attended. Please, anybody explain to me how a murder, a murder situation that needs investigation and all that other stuff. What's up?
She wants to know if Nate can come over.
Well, there's nobody here, so. How can anybody be found dead at 6:30 in the morning and have their funeral that day?
She's coming to pick me up.
Okay. How does that happen? How can anyone, I don't care how rich and powerful you are, anything. Don't you have family members that are more than an hour or two away that wouldn't be able to just drop what they were doing and jump on a plane to be there for your funeral within, hours? I mean, in a funeral, it's not like they do them at nighttime or anything. There's no pictures or anything of this funeral, but how did they have a funeral for this woman? How did over 1,000 people attend a funeral for someone with literally no warning, no advance? How does a funeral home, doesn't a casket need to be picked out? Don't they have to dig? And what about all the other people that might have had funerals scheduled for that day? What about all the autopsies that were scheduled for that day? Does everything get put aside so that this special J woman can be handled so that she can have her funeral that morning? Does that make sense to anyone? Look at this. Look at these dumb J comments. Like, again, who else is it going to be? Okay, other than dumb J's who don't want us talking about these things and pointing these things out. Who the fuck is going to be mad about me asking these questions? Doesn't anybody, even you dumb Jays, don't you wonder how could you possibly have a funeral for someone that over 1,000 people attend? What about grandma over there? What about must have Israeli relatives? None of the Israeli relatives wanted to come to the funeral. Grandma, whatever, over, a couple hours away, different states away. She didn't want to attend the funeral. But look at this. Look at these comments. Your face scares me. Shane get his attention. Sunscreen, get a life. Like, you're on here seriously every day making bonehead statements. Jesus, right. I'm here every day and you're watching me every day. And it's a bonehead statement to think it's impossible to have a funeral for someone that day. Let's see. Nothing, nobody's addressing it. What if they booked for the whole thing? What if they booked for the whole thing? That makes sense. Yep. Blah, blah, blah. You avoid it because you're no real part. Yep. Blah, 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 blah. You only have to. Yep. So none of you can address this, huh? What a surprise. You are here that belongs to Satan. You cannot, blah, blah, Satan. Yep. The Satan's real. What's worse than having an imaginary friend? Having an imaginary enemy. If you believe in Satan, you are exceptionally stupid. Exceptionally. Impressively, exceptionally stupid. I mean, it's amazing. You would think people would be able to address this. Why aren't people addressing this? How does anyone have a funeral the same day? Sometimes things get big on the internet, and so people go and find it. It's a funeral. Yeah, that's what it is. So you think that a murder can happen where someone is found at 6:30 in the morning, and within hours, funeral arrangements can be made? You've clearly never had to deal with something like that. You've never had to deal with anything serious, I guess, because funerals don't work that way. Da 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 da. Look at all these dumb ass comments. You would really think that people would be able to have but I mean, do you expect Shane to have an intelligent conversation? Dude believes in imaginary good guys and bad guys. Yeah, dude doesn't take accountability or responsibility for anything in his life. It's all the invisible puppet master. Probably believes in invisible germs. Probably believes in invisible rocks. I bet you, Shane, I bet you don't believe the earth is flat, do you? Do you believe the earth is flat, Shane? Let's see if Shane has the balls to actually answer us a question. Money is the devil. It's false. Yep. Money is the devil. Blah, 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 blah. God is, Shane is insane now. Yep. Shane is absolutely insane. Earth isn't flat. Yep. Just keep avoiding Jesus. I will. It's a plague. I want nothing to do with it. It's disgusting. And look what it's done to crazy people like you. Yeah. You guys believe in invisible rocks falling out of the sky? You guys believe in invisible germs? You guys believe in invisible pole shifts? You guys believe in invisible super volcanoes? You guys believe in the invisible God, the invisible devil? You guys love believing in invisible shit. Only because you're told to, and it's told to you to scare you. Jesus Christ. It's crazy how fast Shane can type such stupid nonsense. How fast do you think that makes you? How fast do you think that makes you evil and you follow the devil? Obviously, because yeah, if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in the devil, goofball. Come on now, let's put our big boy hats on. How would a flat Earth work? There's lots of videos out there to explain basic shit. How would a round Earth work? It's just stupid. I don't. It's one of those things I don't like getting into. Just because it's at the end of the day, people just like your chosen stupidity is what you go with. You literally have no reason to believe it other than you're told to think that way by the system that lies to you, and you constantly, you purposefully omit a lot of the information that they provide you that tells you it's a lie. There's so much information out there showing you how they're faking everything and how stupid it all is. But you want to believe it for some strange reason. And for some strange reason, it makes you really mad that somebody doesn't believe it. Like you act like you're a stockholder in roundearth.com, and if people start questioning the earth shape, you're going to lose money. Like, it's really crazy how it makes people mad. What? But I only asked the question because I wanted to see if the dumbass would answer. And any of you that believe, like, it's crazy how many of you claim to be Christian, but also believe in the James Webb Space Telescope. You believe in, you believe that rocks killed the dinosaurs falling out of the sky. It's funny. It's like once you realize that you've been duped, and like I spent lots and lots of hours reading about dinosaurs, watching space documentaries, all that shit. And there was always issues with it that I would just overlook because I wanted to believe it. But once you allow yourself to be like, hey, this is kind of goofy. you realize, man, it is silly. It's so silly. It is so fucking silly. You know, that we're on this ball spinning around at 1,000 miles per hour, going around a sun that's 400 times the size of our planet at 67,000 miles per hour. And the cool thing is, the air above the ground that we're spinning on is spinning at the exact same speed, so much so that like dust and shit can fly in the opposite direction. It's so goofy. And the whole, gravity is the smartest force to ever exist. Right? Gravity literally has to be intelligent. Because gravity knows to hold, to use enough pressure to hold a bazillion, fulfillion, mammillion gallons of water on a round ball spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. But also knows that I'm about to do this and lets my hair stand up. It's like, don't put that same force on his hair. The force that's pulling everything towards the center of the earth. Like, it's just silly. It's silly. And just like with so many other arguments, there are just a few things that, unless you're willing to answer for these things, then there's no sense in having a conversation with you. Right? Because there are things like there are so many different places where you can see further than you should be able to see on a round earth that's supposedly XYZ big, 26,000 miles in diameter, blah, blah, blah. You should be able to only see certain distances. It's a mathematical equation. And yet people can see way further than you should be able to. And the reality is, it's 2025 now. The fact that there's even an argument for it shows you that there's something going on. It's 2025. We should absolutely know. Everything that gets brought up by these crazy flat earthers, our society should just be like, nope, debunk, boom, nope, debunk. Here, we're going to show you a video that proves this. Yeah? You done? You leaving?
Yep.
Come here, bud. Or here, wait there.
I'll meet you upstairs.
Wait, go down.
What are you doing?
It's not cocaine, dog.
What I thought it was.
Yeah, well. Put your jacket on. Put it on. We're not doing the hanging on our head thing. We're going to put our jackets on.
Bye, Dad. I mean, Nate. Bye.
Put it on.
It's on.
No, put it all the way on. Nathan, put the jacket on.
Happy?
Yeah. Have fun, bud. You all right? You gotta make things make sense. The Big Bang story and the Jesus story are the same story. They're just slightly different. Right? It's just a little bit different. But it's the same goofy nonsense. Everything came from one thing. And what created that one thing? That we don't know. What created the singularity? We don't know. What created God? We don't know. There is no before God. You know how stupid you sound? Like they always say, oh, atheists believe that everything came from nothing. How does something come from nothing? How does something come from nothing? You go, yeah, well, what about God? Where'd God come from? There was no before God. Huh? Nothing created God. God created God. There was no before God. But come on now. It's such a level of stupid. When you look at the Genesis story, like seriously, it's so dumb. It's so laughably stupid. So So God is this guy who, like, from my interpretation, he seemingly buys like Earth, Earth thing. It's a more advanced version of us. So they have, Earth in an aquarium kind of a situation, and you can buy it from the Best Buy of that existence. And this guy called Todd God bought himself an Earth.com, and it's in his mom's basement, and he it opens with God is the face of God is going across the waters of the deep, right? So he's looking like this at his aquarium, looking around, trying to figure out exactly where he wants to take the next step, which is so according to your book, right? The very first thing God does is turn on the light, right? He doesn't make the sun and the moon until the fourth day, which I don't know how you have 4 days without the sun and the moon, but your book is infallible, right? God turns on the light in the basement, and then the very next thing it does, what in this narrative it's a he, it builds the firmament, the indestructible dome over the flat earth, right? So what the firmament is, it's the indestructible dome to separate the waters of heaven from the earth down below. And now, again, this is the future, so they have shrinky technology. So God shrinks down, gets in his little suit, shrinks down, and now, he has all power, all control. Maybe he just plugs in, for all we know. Boop, boop, and his avatar goes down there. Who knows? But he has all the powers and the control in this world. And so he makes himself a little atom, boop, 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 makes it out of the ground to do, look at him giving those muscles and that dangler penis, boop, 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 boop. And him and Adam, they have so much fun. They sit around, God makes monkeys. What's this, Adam? And Adam goes, monkey. God's like, it's a monkey, we have monkeys. What's this, Adam? A ripaloopala, no. A russatoop, no. A rhinoceros, no. A rhinoceros, yeah, a rhinoceros. I like that one. Okay, rhinoceros. What's this one, Adam? We're going to make this one. It's got a long, long neck. What do you want to call that one? That's a giraffe. A giraffe. Yeah, I like that. That's a giraffe. And they sit around and they just do this for a while. And they make a bunch of animals and shit. And I would assume they make all the bugs too, because they got to make all the little bugs and whatnot, the creeping things. And so, to borrow from Ari Shafir, who I fucking hate, who's a piece of shit and a racist, but he's just the most recent comedian I've heard talk about this. Adam's noticing that, God made two of everything, and that the males seem to be sticking their thing into the girls who don't have the thing. And he's like, hey, yo, God, can I get one of those? And God's like, seriously, we're having so much fun here. And you remember what happened last time? Because you guys don't understand that there was a first one. The first one was Lilith, right? Lilith was made the same way Adam was made, from the earth. And Lilith was defiant. Lilith wouldn't just listen to what everything Adam said. I don't know when this sort of thing happened in the animal making process. But Lilith was she didn't listen and do what she was told, so she was kicked out. And I guess Adam must have forgotten or something, I don't know. But he keeps bugging God, like, come on, I want one. And give it some things up top that I can be like, Blinsky on. I want to do that. I don't know why I want to do that, but I want to do that. God's like, oh, they're so gross. I don't want to do. Fine. That'll make you happy. Do you want him to look like you? And Adam's like, no. And God's like, I know. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad. Oh, ew. Nobody should like that. That's disgusting. Ew. And he's like, all right, fine. Lay down, go to sleep. Adam goes to sleep, and God pulls out his rib for some reason. And you all believe that men have one less rib when they don't. And so makes Eve. And this is a busy day, right? I guess. Because God's like, all right, you guys have a good time. I gotta go to work. Because I assume he has to go to work. Because literally, God leaves. Right? The all-knowing, all-powerful, all-everywhere God must not have the security system up to date or gotten the patch yet or something. But he has to go to work or he has to leave or something, but he leaves. And just before he leaves, he's like, all right, hey, by the way, for some fucked up reason, I'm going to put this tree here to test you. It's going to have a bunch of really delicious looking apples on it. And it's the tree of knowledge. So I don't want you to be smart for some reason. So don't eat it. But I'm going to put it here. It's a test. And Adam's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. I got shit to do. And God's like, all right, just don't eat from the tree. So then he leaves. Adam and Eve, obviously, they get to fucking. And Adam, I would assume it was quick because, it's his first time. Or at least his first time he remembers. I don't really know. But Adam passes out and Eve gets her little, burst of energy that chicks tend to get if you do a good job. And so Eve's out like walking around. Now, mind you, the entire time Adam and Eve have to be like just scratching their shit, right? Because bugs are attracted to your butthole, to buttholes, to vaginal openings. And these guys, so they just got to have the smelliest fingers possible. But Eve's like standing there like, I guess, because I don't fucking know what she was doing. But suddenly, this snake comes out of nowhere and starts talking. And Eve's not like, why are you talking? Eve's just like, snake's like, psst, come here. Come here. And Eve's like, hey, what you doing? Snake's like, hey, you know how you're like stupid as fuck? And Eve's like, what you mean stupid? Me no stupid. And Snake's like, fuck yeah, you're stupid. And again, God can't see this, apparently doesn't, But the Snake's like, you know how you're fucking itchy and shit? And he's like, yeah, this isn't fun. I don't like this. It's itchy? That's what we call it? Itchy? Okay. It's bad. And look at Adam. He's sleeping and he's scratchy. He got poo-poo all over his fingers. Snake's like, well, I can fix that for you. And he's like, really? You can make it stop itching? Huh? How do you do that? And the Snake's like, go take a bite of one of those apples. And he's like, oh, no. No, God's an asshole. No, I don't want to do that. He gets mad. And I heard a story from a different talking animal. I'm not going to say who. Told me about Lilith, and she's not here anymore. So I don't want to go anywhere. And the Snake's like, come on, stupid. You don't want to be itchy anymore, do you? And she's like, no, I don't like it. He's like, just trust me. This is the tree of knowledge. It's a good thing. Being smart is a good thing. The snake must have taken a bite from the apple, maybe. I don't know. Because you would think there would have been lots of animals and bugs and shit that would have been eaten from all the apples that were all over this tree. They were so delicious. So Eve's like, you know what? This is really uncomfortable. I trust you, talking snake. Nothing else is talking but that other animal, so you must be on the right page if you're talking. So she goes over and takes a bite. And as she does it, she has one of those Google Earth, like, comes back down. And she goes, holy fuck, I'm naked. Oh, there's bugs all in my coochie and the asshole and shit because I'm naked. Oh. Well, it's a good thing I know how to make clothes out of leaves all of a sudden, because I'm going to go wash all those bugs out and put on this bikini made of leaves that I know how to make. And so she does that, and then she goes and she wakes up Adam, and Adam's like, hey, let's do it. She's like, no, stupid. He's like, hey, what do you have on? And he's like, I call them clothes. They're beautiful, aren't they? And Adam's like, but why you talk like that now? And he's like, because I took a bite of that fucking apple that he doesn't want us to take. And oh my God, I'm like super smart now. And I can see things. And I know how to make clothes. And oh my God, I've got so many ideas. We have to go take a bite. And Adam's like, oh, no, no, no. You're going to get in trouble. And he's like, there's no way we're going to get in trouble for this. I don't have itchy. No, I'm not scratching. You see, Adam's like, I do have itchy. She's like, yeah, we can fix the itchy. That's what we call itchy. And Adam's like, oh, okay, itchy, okay. Yeah, I don't like this. He's like, bitch, just go take an apple. I'll suck your dick again. And he's like, okay. And he runs over and he takes a bite, and immediately he's like, oh, fuck, okay, the little bugs, they're all in my ass. That's why I'm itching. Okay, yep, gotcha. Can you whip me up a pair of, I'm going to call them shorts. Can you whip me up a pair of shorts out of some leaves? And he's like, yeah, of course I can. Why wouldn't I be able to? I just learned this fucking skill. Of course I can. So that just as Adam's putting his shorts on, God gets home from work, because again, he wasn't there and he doesn't see any of this, because he comes in and he's like, Adam, wherefore art thou? Because he doesn't know where Adam is, right? He must not have like the full link up yet or something. I don't know. Maybe they needed an update or something. But he's like, Adam, wherefore art thou? And they're like, oh shit, he's going to get mad at us. I know, but he can't be a dick like that. I swear, come on. We gotta, I don't know. And he's walking around, Adam, God, come on. We just gotta face it. We can't go back. And I mean, I look good in this shit. Besides, we're not itchy. Like, he's our father, right? He's not gonna get mad at us for fucking fixing a problem, right? Adam's like, yeah, he's a dick. Now that I took a bite, I remember Lilith, and yeah, he's a dick. He's a dick. So God goes walking by and doesn't notice him. And then they come out from behind a tree, because they were hiding behind a tree and God didn't know where they were. And God sees him and goes, oh, what the fuck are you wearing? And he's like, I call them, and he's like, clothes. Yeah, I know, clothes. I can see, okay, clothes. I get it now. Okay. Why the fuck are you wearing clothes? I want you guys to be naked. And Adam's like, come on, dude. I was all itchy. I was getting like blood. Look, my fingers aren't all stinky anymore. I like your stinky fingers, mister. I didn't, God. I don't want your life. And God's like, oh, oh my God. Why did you do this? And Adam's like, Eve did it. And God's like, well, bitch, let me tell you something, bitch. From here on out, anytime you guys get pregnant, and I know you don't know what that is yet. Well, no, I guess they do at this point, because don't they have their 2 kids by this point? Don't they have Cain and Abel by now? But he's like, anytime anybody gives birth, from here on out, they gonna die. Or at least run the risk of dying. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck. They could die. It's all because of you. Because you wanted to be Miss Smarty Pants, not naked, running around. Get the fuck out. Get out of my Eden. I made this place for you. Get out. I'm going to put a new people in here, and they're going to follow my rule. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Eating clothes. I don't fucking know. But he kicks them out. And then their sons, Cain and Abel, take wives from the people of the land of Nod. So again, I thought it was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. But where the people of Nod come from, we don't really know. We don't talk about that. But yeah, that makes way more sense. You know what I hate to admit? God, it makes me sick saying it. I hate to admit that in the scheme of things, the religious narrative makes more sense than the scientific narrative. Because the Big Bang Theory is just such utter stupid fucking nonsense. Really, when you really start thinking about what you're supposed to believe, it doesn't get any dumber. Like, okay, so we just did the Genesis narrative. Right? That makes sense to some people, I guess, right? So let's talk about the Big Bang. So the Big Bang, and remember, with God, you're not supposed to say, where did God come from? Like, just like with God, I want to know, like, the singularity, was it inside the warehouse? Was it a big empty universe warehouse? And the singularity was in that? Or did the singularity also create the warehouse in the limits of the universe? And, like, what does the theory say? I don't, either way, it's stupid, but you're supposed to believe, hello, princess girl. You're supposed to believe that everything you can see, if you stand where you are right now and you spin in a circle and you look around and you think that there are 32 people on here right now. And if everybody else did the exact same thing, stood there, spun around, wherever you are, and you multiply everything that all of us can see by infinity, all of that you can see was condensed down into something smaller than the size of a match head in the middle of the, again, is it the empty fucking, I don't know, but it was there. It was collapsing in on itself because of the magical force that is gravity. Right? So then, eventually, because we can test for shit like this, right? When you squeeze something so hard, eventually it explodes in every direction, and it just keeps it just keeps erupting. And that's what happened. Everything in the universe condensed down, it explodes. They say that, so first there's the light flash from the explosion, then there's a dark period, then there's the period where all the debris forms the universes and stuff. So what happens is, so remember, it's a singularity and everything explodes. So if something is a small little circle and it explodes out, as you get further away from the circle, each particle that gets further and further away from the circle is actually going to get further away from each other. But somehow that's not how it is in this narrative. And this, again, the singularity just keeps spewing out debris. Yeah, I'll be down in a minute. And the debris coming out, the same gravity that was making this singularity is now in little bitty pockets strewn throughout the debris. And remember, it's all just dust and dirt side, little microscopic pieces of debris that get caught in this gravity, in these individual gravity swirl pockets, where they just start swirling and swirling. And as they swirl, all the debris starts to clump together. And eventually, the clumps and clumps and clumps and clumps, they form things like our sun, which is, incredibly small in the scheme of things, apparently. Things like Betelgeuse are a gazillion times bigger than our sun. So it must have been a lot of clumps that made Betelgeuse. But at some point, each clump, a magical point each clump has where it suddenly decides to light itself on fire. You all right? You all right?
Cold.
Oh. The clump decides to light itself on fire, magical plasma fire that will burn in perpetuity throughout forever. I mean, eventually it'll grow real big, and then it'll collapse in on itself and form a black hole. But that's way down the line. So these what we call stars are formed, and our sun is formed, and in a flat line shape pattern, because suddenly, even though you're in space and you're in a vacuum of space, there's a north and a south. And along the meridian line, more little clumps form together. And instead of lighting themselves on fire, they light the inside of themselves on fire and start revolving around the fire clump, again because of gravity. The gravity that makes things all stick together and form clumps is now making things revolve around itself. And eventually, on Earth at least, the inside is all hot and bubbly. It starts raining here, and it rains for a super long time. And that makes oceans. And then one day a rock...
How do they get salt in them?
Minerals. Then one day, those same minerals don't affect lakes. And then one day, a rock falls out of the sky, as rocks often do. And on this rock was a single-celled organism that survived the crash, the fiery crash through the atmosphere and the yada yucca yada. And this single-celled organism thrived in the water that was here. And over millions and millions of years, it eventually becomes a double-celled organism, and then a quadruple-celled organism, and eventually it makes all the fish. All of the fish, they come from this thing eventually. And all of the fish are living in the water world until one of them just one day is like, hey, I'm going out.
I know everybody else has died because they can't breathe in air, but I'm doing it.
Right, I can do it. Again, that's like one of us deciding that we're just going to start breathing water. Fish did it. Fish walks out of the water because it can walk. And
Did they become mermaids before they became humans?
Shut up, don't be stupid. There's no such fucking thing as mermaids. No. They become big giant ass lizards. I mean, again, how many of these fish can do this? How many fish can walk out of the water?
Salamanders.
The first one would have to be like an anomaly, right? So that anomaly would then have to mate with some other version of itself and then produce more birth defects. These are birth defects that allow it to breathe. And they start going out and they start like flopping around at first. And then they flop back into the water. You know what it is? The tide. When the tide goes out and comes back in, they flop around for a while and then they go back in. But they eventually turn into like big giant fucking scary lizards and shit. Like way bigger than we can even imagine. They say elephants are...
for size.
Well, they say elephants are as big as animals can get on land because their bodies would fall apart. Their stomachs would fall out if they were any bigger and shit. But the dinosaurs, man, they were like... Brontosaurus with its big ass neck. It's got a big ass long neck. Like nothing. A hippo body with a giraffe neck. Come on now. That's fucking real. And those eat plants, by the way, which were huge, I guess. And the thing is, we know...
found bones.
And they found footprints. Because footprints exist. From a gazillion years. Right, they fossilized. The footprints fossilized. No, I got it. That magical process that makes organic material turn into stone and then makes like liquid turn into stone and whatever. But so some fish also turn into little fuzzy creatures because there were some mammals that existed back then, and then some of the fish also turned into flying creatures.
Okay, so
that eventually become chickens.
Water is everywhere. So the water...
We had Pangea.
That's in...
one big continent. It broke apart.
In the cold part of the earth, those fish grew hair and became the creatures. The fish that came out of the water in like the desert areas became the lizards.
Yeah, no, you know what? You're making a lot of sense
And the
here.
water that was in the mountainous areas, they needed to become birds to traverse that area. So,
See, that's why I do this, because when we get to talking about it, it makes it make sense.
duh.
But then another rock fell from the sky and killed them all. Well, killed like 98%.
Or was it the Ice Age? The ice killed.
Well, no, the rock fell and killed a lot. And that the ones that didn't get killed were killed by the following ice age because they didn't have hair yet.
The Ice Age came from
the smoke blocking out the sun from the rock.
So that caused it not to be warm anymore.
Right, because the sun was the light from the sun was blocked out. It made the ice age. Yeah. So it's not really like an ice age. It's just a thing our planet does.
So the light warms us, not the heat from the sun, the big fiery ball. It's the light that warms us, not the fire from the fiery ball.
Well, no, the clouds block the heat too.
Oh, they insulate?
Yes.
How does the wind blow?
Whatever. Eventually, after this time,
That's a lot of yada yada.
I know, but different creatures. I don't know if more fish came out of the water to make different creatures,
Yeah.
or the fish,
First time.
or the creatures that survived just became the next round of creatures. But however, I think probably more fish came out of the water, and this time they turned into like giraffes and monkeys and tigers.
Didn't work for us last time.
Right, we don't do that because it's gonna get. Remember, it could get cold. A rock can fall and then it gets cold. So we better make hair this time. Let's genetically adapt to have hair this time and fur. So then and then again there were some that still survived. So some like pterodactyls and shit, they turned into chickens. But like now there's like tigers and lions and bears, oh my, and woolly mammoths and you know, and more. They did make more lizards though. They did. Some of them did make more lizards, or maybe those were just the lizards that survived. But this time they were like, let's be really small. Maybe that's what it is. Right. And so and that's the other thing, like how they became bugs. The fish became bugs too. Right. So they did have to become.
Lizards, they can become bugs.
Right. They became bugs. But then everything just was its thing. Maybe it got bigger and smaller. But then the monkeys were the only ones who then ate the fruit. Maybe we found the tree. I don't know.
The apple.
The apple. But we ate that shit and monkeys became humans.
Talk to them.
Because can you imagine like how cool it would be if tigers would have become humans first? Or at the same time or they were like bear humans and like all these other things evolved, like because we still have monkeys.
Maybe that's why people identify as foxes, because, you know.
Holy shit, she just broke the fucking code. Holy shit, it's our
People were
it's
foxes,
right it's
people were tigers, so they identified.
so they were tigers that slept with monkeys, and then they made the monkey tiger people, but then they lost all their tiger genetics through only fucking monkey people. But then there's still some remnants of the tiger people in there. Booyaka. But then why would the monkey people out survive the tiger and lion people and all those other people?
And they had thumbs. Duh.
What about the raccoon people? They have thumbs.
Raccoons? Don't be stupid. Raccoon people.
Where'd the raccoons come from?
Ridiculousness is that?
What fish turned into a raccoon, I wonder? Come on, guys.
The coonfish?
Oh, the raccoon fish. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, seriously. I hate to say it, but the Jesus narrative makes more sense than the Big Bang narrative. Ugh. Because at least with the Jesus narrative, you could be like, oh, it's like actually like a metaphor for the watchers interfering with the people down here and creating in there. You could do that some way with that, like
What I don't like about the Bible
everything.
is some of it's supposed to be taken as metaphor.
Right.
And some of it's supposed to be taken literally.
Right.
So which is which?
You're supposed to get that from your local preacher,
Who
who somehow has all these sermons at his disposal, because he's not writing all that shit, but he has sermons.
He is. That's what they do in their off time.
Right.
They don't have ladies, so they sit there
Other than fuck with kids,
write their sermons out.
and other than paying bills and shit.
We don't pay bills.
Do you understand? Like, those are the two narratives you're allowed to think. Most of you think it's a combination of both. And none of you think, hey, maybe it's more than one. Maybe or more than two. Maybe there are more than two options. What if there's like a third option that says that we are just the product of a more advanced version of us who has us in something that we don't know we're in?
All right.
And they film us with cameras that
your
we can't
tinfoil
see.
hat is showing.
Why would that to me just makes more sense than the other two. I can wrap my head around, like, I can look at us as people and how far away do you think we are from building that dome? How far away do you think we are from creating that exact narrative and then, the ultimate reality TV show? I can't imagine we're, 500 years away, 1,000 years away. Like, do you think we'll be able to do that in 1,000 years? I think we'll be able to do that shit in 50 years. I think we're a lot closer than we think. But let's just say 1,000 years. You don't think in 1,000 years we'd be able to build some sort of dome that the little monkeys inside didn't know what they were in? And then because you control the narrative, you tell them what you're in. If you're given the answer before you ask the question, you never ask the question.
Well, that's what they're hoping.
Right. Right. They provide you with the answers. And the funny thing is they provide you with, like, both sides. Again, most of you believe in both. Most of you don't understand that the very first thing your God does after turning on the light is build the indestructible firmament dome over the earth, the flat earth, the four-cornered earth. Right? Like, it's what your shit says. But to say that, if you just look at that shit as all just like, it's not even, nothing's real about it. It's just some dumb story. It's some dumb control mechanism story to keep the fucking people down below stupid and answer the question before they ask it. And then if somebody does start asking the questions, they go, you don't ask this, you don't ask that. You say the same thing I say. They just get mad. It's amazing to me how mad people get at me for asking questions, for not believing the same thing they believe. And in this society we live in, there are a few things that if you don't believe what everybody else believes, our PC world is allowed to, like, ridicule and attack you. We're not allowed to ridicule and attack you if you're overweight and you cost the system a bunch of money and you're lazy and you don't have to be that way, but you choose to be, blah, blah, blah. We're not allowed to ridicule you for that.
Go around telling people that voting doesn't matter?
Right.
Wow.
Go around not wearing a mask when everybody has a mask on and is vaccinated. So what would they even be scared of if they're vaccinated? But you don't want to wear a mask. Oh, you're a bad guy.
You're trying to kill people.
Go tell people you don't believe in Jesus. People act like atheists are the scariest people in the world. And yet it's the religious person that continuously does the shit. I mean, we just had the Al Qaeda. Have you seen the pictures of that shit?
ISIS?
Or the ISIS guy? Look at.
They have more pictures.
Look at this. So that's what that bunched up flag flattened out real nice and perfectly, and it's that fucking big, huh? That looks like the same flag that was on the back of that car.
What does it say?
It's Al Qaeda. It's the Al Qaeda flag.
ISIS or Al Qaeda?
Or yeah, ISIS flag. Sorry, it's the same shit. Sorry, they're the same thing. But I mean, this is that religious just bullshit that they use against us. You know, literally Christians and Jays are dropping bombs all over the Middle East right now. And yet, if the Muslims fight back, there's something wrong with them. And of course, the very first day of the year that Trump's going to take over, it's ISIS comes out of nowhere. Come on, guys. If anything.
And our president doesn't release a statement, but fucking Trump still does?
That stupid shooting, or that reminded me of the shooting more than anything. It just seemed like this fake narrative that they're giving us that doesn't stand up to any sort of scrutiny.
So you let him go. He didn't have any money. He didn't have lunch.
If they wanted to go, and nobody said anything, that's fine.
Where are they going?
I don't know. Going to hang out at Cheese.
Doesn't have a watch charged. They do not plan this very well.
Okay, so let's see. Is this actually, are we going to see Biden here? Is that the president standing there like a dumbass?
He's got that
there it
old
is.
man look on his face now.
Well, there he is.
That
We haven't
close.
seen him, but there he is. I don't know. I don't care to hear it. It's all bullshit. If you believe this narrative we've been given. Oh wait, let me see something real quick.
Defense and intelligence apparatus of the country. The situation when we've been spending.
He's not using the phone.
How come when I look up video of crash New Orleans, nothing comes up?
Because they're not going to show all those people dying.
We began this morning with an update on the deadly mass casualty in New Orleans. You're seeing some new surveillance video of the crash that left 15 people dead on New Year's Eve. We paused that video just before the moments of impact as people scrambled for safety. Right now, we're going to give you a live look at the scene.
That's it?
The now empty bird.
Suspect plus reaction.
How come this guy looks Indian? Pakistani or some shit? Like, it's weird. So there's one video.
Iran? Is that where he's from?
I don't know. The whole thing is bullshit. It's all just,
Yeah, it's really just...
it's all bullshit. I don't know what we're looking at. I don't know how, I can't say for certain what all of it is because I don't have access to that shit. But I can tell you that it doesn't look right. And it hasn't been handled right. One of the telltale things that I really don't understand, and maybe I'm just looking at the wrong thing, but it seems like if there's little details on the sides, like I do that now. I pay attention to the backgrounds. I pay attention to the details in the background that either we're not supposed to see or we're not supposed to pay attention to, or maybe we are, I don't know, but they want us paying attention to the foreground, and I always look at what's going on in the back. And one of the, immediately, when we saw it, it was like 11 o'clock in the afternoon by the time we finally saw it. So you would have thought there would have been more footage. Instead, they're showing us the same looped, like 6 or 8 images, not even really videos, just images over and over again. But one of the videos that you saw was somebody standing there looking at a line of police cars down the street and sort of panning so you could see that the police cars went all the way down. And they were all neatly parked along the curb and they all had their blue lights on. And the scene was still dark, so it was before the sun had come up. So they say that the incident happened at like 3:15. So this video had to be between 3:30 and 5:30. I mean, the chaos had sort of stopped. So this video had to be closer to like 5-ish, 5:30-ish when it's still sort of dark, but couldn't be too much later. And all I could think was, well, first of all, cops don't swarm into a scene like that or even come in and neatly park in a row like that, right? They come in and they sort of swarm. So at some point, somebody would have had to unpark all those cars and then park each one along the sidewalk perfectly, with X amount of space in between. And all of them flip their blue lights on, and it goes in. Why would they do that? How would they do that? How did the logistics of that even take place? Hey, all you guys, all right, we're gonna move all our cars over there, and everybody in the line, and then leave your light. Like, really? When they all pull up, it's not gonna be like they all pull up and neatly park. That's not how that works in an emergency. So it's just those little things like that where it looks like a staged scene. I'm not going to look at that and be like, oh, well, it's only that is a staged scene. Right away, they're telling us it's ISIS. Right off the bat, they're telling us it's a terrorist attack. Do you know that the next day, 10 people, at the time, 10 people were killed by the driver. The next day, 10 people were shot in New York. Nobody was calling that a terrorist attack. But immediately they were saying it was this terrorist attack, and they only had this is hours later, they only have this one janky shot of the back of the truck with a white pole with a bunched up, like it looked like a shirt. It wasn't big. It was, compared to the rest of the truck, it was only like, a foot of the pole was this bunched up mass of blackness. Some sort of cloth, some sort of whatever. And they immediately are saying, well, we don't know if it's ISIS. We don't know if it. We don't know it. We can't confirm it. But there's all the hallmarks of it.
Yeah.
When the last time somebody did that driving through people thing, that was the Trump supporter at the rally against whatever, and he decided to do that. And then Trump was like, well, there are good people on both sides of this. And remember that? That wasn't Al-Qaeda. That wasn't ISIS. But they were immediately telling us that, and they had I mean, the fact that they were like, well, we just don't have, like, what takes hours to report to us? What are they keeping hidden from us for hours that it takes them so long to be able to report it to us and make sure everyone has the narrative just right so nobody slips up this time? Because those jerks online that keep pointing to everything we're getting wrong each time, everybody knows their lines, right? Everybody has everything everybody knows what they're supposed to say. Got all the cars parked, all the lights on? Yeah. Okay, that makes sense, doesn't it?
They're always okay. So how come we didn't learn about this in geography? Do you know what this is?
Well, yeah, one of those pyramids in
It's a mountain?
Antarctica, right?
No, it's
Or is that South America?
no.
They're all over. China, whatever.
Kailash is a pyramid. It's led some scientists to speculate that it may not be a mountain at all, but rather a pyramid. The four sloping faces of Kailash Parvat make these speculations even more plausible. Why is it forbidden to climb it? Some brave climbers have attempted to reach the summit, but to no avail. It's considered a forbidden act by Hindus as they fear violating the sacredness of the mountain and disturbing the divine energies that reside
Who
there.
gives a shit? You and your fake fucking bullshit. Why do I care? Unless you can show me that your shit is real, then I don't have to believe in it.
Okay, so that it by the Hindus, right? Okay, so it says it's in China, but Mount Kailash and Lake
What do I think about gay
whatever
people? They're fantastic.
is actually located in Tibet, which is a region under Chinese
I
administration.
don't think about gay people.
And it's never been a part of India. It's called the axis of the world. It's believed to be the axis mundi, also known as the cosmic axis, the axis of the world, the pillar of the world, the center of the world, or the world tree.
You know what I hate about these
It's considered to be the
things?
point where the sky meets the earth. Google Maps also seems to confirm this. How come I never learned about this in geography if it's so significant?
Because just like you never learned about Tartaria. You know, these are all these things. I hate talking about these things because at the end of the day, we only know what the Jays allow us to know. Whatever information they allow to slip out, whatever information they don't scrub, that's what we're allowed to know. And until we unify as one Goyim and overthrow the Jays that control our narrative, everything we're talking about continues. Everything we're talking about is what it is until, we overthrow them. They are the cause. It's all them. They control all of it. They give you this, they give you that, They give you your Islam, they give you your Christianity, they give you your spirituality. I don't know. I hearing my wife say it the other day was shocking. I never thought she'd actually say it, but I don't know. Are you also applying that to your own stuff? And if so, is it making it sort of more difficult? I mean, that's my thing with it. When I understand that we don't know the whole truth, we can't know the truth until we override the people who lie to us about everything, then what we do know is just distraction. And I'd love to know the truth about the rocks and all that stuff. I'd love to know where the zodiacs and all that other shit came from and how how it all came into existence. But until we overthrow them, we're only practicing what they allow us to practice. Right. And that's exactly. So to me, and again, I'm just fascinated. I wonder, does that make it harder? Does that make it so you're questioning things that once you sort of, because the thing about truth is once you go that route, it's not like you can ungo that route. So even if you want to be like, no, you still, your mind's going to go, when you don't want it to, your mind's going to go, yeah, but where'd this come from? Like it's truth. It's the like the water of forces. It's unstoppable. So, you're sitting there trying to play along now, and while everybody else is doing their thing, are you going to? Is that you're gonna end up fucking? It sucks, kinda. It does. It kind of sucks, but it's also inspirational because it makes you want to figure it out. I want to know. I want to know more than the breadcrumbs. I want the whole fucking loaf. I want the factory. I want the bread fucking making factory and the deed to the fucking land that it's on. I want to know all that shit. And even then, the deed to the land, and then the government of that city, and then the government of that, it's like it just keeps going until you finally get to I want the source to tell me the truth. Whatever way this works, I want to know. And I think we need to just, we need to figure that out. That should be that unifying theme that inspires us all to drop whatever dumb, unless you like fucking with children and you support J supremacy, then otherwise you should be okay with, I mean, I guess I know it's going to ruin everything. It's going to ruin all the bullshit you try to put yourself through. all of it really difficult. But it again, that's inspirational. It's like you get it. It's like the game to figure it all out again. And we get to rewrite the books instead of just reading what they want us to read. We get to rewrite it. Like that's exciting. Anyway, go get your free download. www.the-bilderberg.group.com. It's free. All you got to do is put zero when it asks you how much you want to pay for the download. You put zero and it's free. You put $5 and it's the same thing. You put $100 and it helps out a lot, but you get the same thing. It's all free. Just all we ask is that you share it with someone. Also going to put a link to the Facebook page. A song called Putin Work. Go check that out. Share it with people. Not only will it put hair on your chest, it'll make your pussy tighter. There you go. Unless you don't want it to be, then it won't. But everyone have a great day. Pedophiles, kill yourself.